Okay.
Mr. Chairman, head table guests, hello? Can everybody hear me okay? My whole life, nobody has ever said they couldn't hear me. Okay. It was a happy accident, actually, that we chose tonight to give an honorary achievement award to Willie Cormier. He's here to honor his mother, Kay, as well as his good friend, Bozo. Also, we're honoring the architects of the Coal Bowl, Jimmy and Bryden, and whose name is more synonymous with the Coal Bowl than Willie Cormier. Willie was born on January 3rd, 1953, baby number 8 in a family of 11 children. He suffered a birth accident that left him lacking in coordination, but certainly not in ambition and drive. His parents always treated Willie no differently from his brothers and sisters. He was taught to dress and feed himself and to be self-sufficient. He literally grew up at sporting events in town. He may not have been able to play, but he followed all the leagues and he could quote all the stats consistently. In his early years, Willie worked packing bags at the Co-op grocery store in town, where he made a small fortune in tips. He was always taking home cans and cans of money. He knew a lot of people, and people were very good to him. It was in these early days at the Co-op that Willie learned to banter with people. And he also became a keen observer of how to make people laugh. It was here that he perfected his famous quips and quick comebacks, which always made people laugh and thus translated into more tips. Willie's irreverent comments became legendary in Waterford. It didn't matter who you were, he'd throw one of his remarks out if he thought he could get a laugh. I well remember him at the Mount Carmel basketball games when he'd walk by the stage and get Anna Cormier and Janie Hutchison riled up. And if you can remember those two ladies back in the day, it was difficult to calm them down once they got going. Willie loved it. I can also remember playing basketball for St. Agnes High in the late 60s, and if I did really well, Willie would come over after the game, point at me, and say, "You could be so much better if you played for Mount Carmel." But my favorite example by far of Willie's irreverence happened at a Coal Bowl game when Ray Kavanagh, who was mayor at the time, and his brother Jimmy, who was principal of Beck and co-chair of the Coal Bowl committee, were walking across the gym floor at halftime, and Willie could be heard to say very loudly, "Here comes two dandies now." If he thought he could get a laugh for a comment, out it came. There were certainly no filters where Willie was concerned. It didn't matter who you were, everyone was fair game for Willie's sense of humor. Willie was also very involved with hockey as well and refereed for years at the local rink. For him, this was a labor of love, as skating gave him a coordination that he just couldn't master on his feet. But he had a bad knee, and eventually he had to give that up as well. Willie was always on the go. He got up and was gone for the day. He knew when and where every sporting event was happening. His family didn't always know where he was, but they knew he could certainly take care of himself. When he was still young, Willie started up a friendship with Ray Bozo Steele. It was a friendship that would continue throughout Bozo's life, and Willie valued it immensely. Willie's family were always grateful for how good Bozo was to him, and Willie became such a close part of Bozo's life that he was seated at the head table at Bozo and Mary's wedding. Bozo relied on Willie to sell tickets and put him at the best location in town, the liquor store. Willie didn't disappoint, always outselling every ticket seller. If someone canceled out, Bozo knew he could get Willie to fill in at a moment's notice. Bozo also made sure that Willie got to all the sporting events in the area. It was Bozo's presence on the original Coal Bowl Board of Directors that got Willie involved in the greatest sporting love of his life. Willie loved the Coal Bowl unconditionally, and it provided him with the perfect venue for his quick wit and love of people and sports. He became the unofficial mayor of Coal Bowl, and from the start, he was at the gym as teams arrived. For many of those coaches and players from different parts of the country, Willie was their very first Coal Bowl contact. And since Lowell Cormier was the first and longest serving coach of the Breton Bears, Willie was one of the first to coin the term, the Lowell Bowl. Every single year, about 2 months before the tournament, Willie would call Lowell and say he had contacted all the local media to make sure they didn't forget about the Coal Bowl. He always finished with, "I'll let Yogi know too." That would be Yogi Muse, who was actually in charge of media coverage for the Coal Bowl. Coal Bowl also gave Willie the added opportunity to spend more time with and help out his number one buddy, Bozo. When Bozo became the Coal Bowl's first commentator, Willie could often be heard in the stands echoing Bozo's excited comments on the games. Willie was a fan favorite for sure and was a standout every year with his long leather coat and his leather cowboy hat. He continued his involvement in the Waterford sports right up until he moved out of town 11 years ago. And so tonight, Willie, we thank you for all these memories and for so much more. And we want to give you this Special Achievement Award for giving us the gift of you over the years. We'd like you to come up now and accept this award from the New Waterford Sports Heritage Hall of Fame. And in closing, I guess there's just one thing left to say. Willie, you'll be all right.
Want to say a few words, Willie? Joanne? You can take him out for a picture.
What?
You can take him out for a picture when he's finished.
Yes. He's going to say a few words. I'm sorry.
Want to say a few words, Will?
Yeah, you got it.
You got her. Go right ahead.
How you doing? On behalf of my mother, which was deceased, and myself, I'd like to thank everybody. Thank you very much.